Howdy swim fans, here with another episode of Whiteboard Wednesday, and on today's episode, we're talking about the freestyle flip turn. We're gonna talk about why the freestyle flip turn is so important to swimming and some tips and tricks that you can use along the way to improve this skill. Without further ado, we first need to understand what is a flip turn in the first place. To put a definition behind a flip turn, it's simply the process of changing direction at the wall to keep continuously swimming. Now this is applied in our crawl strokes, so this is freestyle and backstroke, along with kicking. So if you kick and streamline on your back, this allows you to continuously move through a set without having to stop, take a breath at the wall, and then push off again. It's one continuous motion. And if you understand why this is so important, you'll get some context as to why we do it. So we do this because it's faster. If you think about taking a break by grabbing the wall, breathing, and then pushing off, the act of doing a somersault is actually much faster. This also is not only more efficient, but it allows you to build endurance, because if you think about it, if you're swimming, say, 200 meters in a short course pool that's 25 meters long, if you have to stop 7 times in the course of that 200, it doesn't seem like a lot, but over the course of a longer distance, this actually adds up to a lot. So if you're a triathlete and you're not interested in doing a flip turn because you don't think it's going to matter, it'll actually improve your overall fitness level and allow you to train at a much higher level, because you're eliminating all these small gaps that interrupt your swim, whether it's every 25 or 50 meters. So to have uninterrupted swimming is super important. Now, the 5-step process, if you're not familiar with doing a flip turn and you've never done one in your entire life, that's totally okay. We're gonna learn the 5-step process so that you can master a flip turn in just minutes. Now, the first step is mastering a standing somersault. So the key to doing a flip turn is being able to do a somersault, and the way you start learning this is not at the wall. We separate ourselves from the wall, we find an open area in the lane at the edge of the pool so that you can stand, and you actually practice doing a somersault from a standing position. So the way this works is you're actually simply standing vertical with your face looking directly what's in front of you. You use either one or both hands to push off in the air, and you want to get comfortable using your hand to initiate the rotation so that your entire body can flip. So step 1 is the standing somersault, where you lead with either 2 hands or with 1 hand. 1 hand is a little bit harder, 2 hands is a little bit easier to get the momentum, and you flip straight over the top, meaning your feet follow your hands, follow your head, your chin is tucked in, and you want to get your body in as small of a ball as possible so that your rotation is faster. So the key is having a small ball, and your goal is to be able to do an entire flip out of the water. Now the whole point of doing this drill, even though you're not going to have a push off the bottom of the pool when you do a flip turn, is to get your body used to flipping with speed with the assistance of one or both of your hands. So that way, when you're horizontal, which is step 2, you can apply this at the wall. Now step 2, you're still not at the wall. You're floating in the surface area of the water, you're away from the wall, and you're gonna focus on doing a somersault while you're horizontal on your stomach. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take 3 strokes freestyle, and on the 3rd stroke, your arm is going to pull you in and lead you into the flip, just like you were practicing when you were standing vertical. So you take your 3 strokes, and on the 3rd stroke, you use that final pull to leverage you and tuck your chin into a really tight ball, and you do a somersault where you finish after 360 degrees of rotation. You're gonna be right where you started, and then you take 3 more strokes. And the goal of taking only 3 strokes is that you wanna practice pulling yourself in on both arms. So you practice with your right arm, you take 3 strokes, and then you practice with your left arm, because when you're swimming in the pool, you don't know what arm you're gonna approach the wall. It could be your right, it could be your left. And the key is carrying momentum through the pull. You don't wanna take your 3 strokes, stop, and then pull. You wanna use the speed that you have swimming, similar to when you were pushing off the bottom, to leverage that speed and then use that momentum to carry you into a really tight ball. So once you've mastered the standing somersault and the horizontal somersault, and you're able to flip your body 100%, 360 degrees, feet over, heels over the water straight away, you're not rotating onto the side Then you're ready for step number 3. And I should back up. On step 1 and 2, it's really important that you're comfortable blowing bubbles out of your nose. A big challenge a lot of swimmers have is they get water up their nose. You have to be comfortable sort of with a humming sensation. So it helps to just go underwater and relax and just hum and get that feeling of pushing out air through your nose, because that's what you're going to need to do when you flip. You're going to need to blow out your nose. And the more you do it, the more controlled it's going to get and the easier it's going to be for you. So step 3 is actually applying this concept of doing a somersault after 3 strokes at the wall. So you're going to practice approaching the wall with freestyle, and when you're about 1 arm's length away from the wall, you're going to initiate your flip. But nothing is different than what you did when you were horizontal. So you take your 3 strokes, and then you're at the wall, your fingertips are right at the edge of the wall, and you're going to initiate the pull that'll get you into the flip. And you want to be in a really tight ball. Just because the wall is there doesn't mean you actually change any of the mechanics you did in steps 1 or step 2. So step 3 is doing the somersault at the wall, and you want to finish this step, step 3, with your feet being lined up 6 to 12 inches or less than half a meter underneath the surface of the water. Your toes should be pointing to the sky, to the top of the water, and your body should be in a position like this image right here, where you're ready to push off the wall. And if you look at this image, you can see the swimmer's feet are about 6 to 12 inches underneath the surface of the water. Their body is compact, and their arms are already in the streamlined position. The great thing about doing a flip turn, a somersault flip turn with freestyle specifically, is that after you do the pull, your hands and your arms are already in a streamlined position, so that all you'll have to do is push off. So once you've accomplished step 3, step 4 is actually pushing off the wall. So you're going to approach the wall, you're going to take your last stroke that's going to pull you in for the flip. You're going to be in this position with your feet and your toes pointing to the top of the water. You're in a streamline. You should be able to see through the water and look at the ceiling or the sky if you're in an outdoor pool. And then you're actually going to push off on your back, and you're going to streamline kick. The only time we actually rotate onto our stomach is once we've actually left the wall. So that's step 5. If you notice, the first 4 steps do not involve any rotation laterally. You're just going to do the somersault as you approach the wall. And at the end of step 4, you're going to be in this position where essentially your body is flat underneath the water, and your legs are compact, and your body is in a position where all you have to do is push off the wall. And then as you push off the wall, that is when you begin the rotation. So step 5 is rotation after the push off. So the key is, as you're pushing off the wall, you begin that rotation. But you don't want to rotate while you're at the wall. A lot of people make the mistake of rotating on step 3. So as you're doing the flip, you're rotating. So that's just a waste of time. If you were going to do that, you may as well just grab the top of the wall, get your breath, and then push off the wall. So it's really important that you only push off and then you rotate. Don't mix them up together. So step 5 is initiate the rotation, rotate while pushing off the wall, and you want to kick in streamline, either a freestyle kick or a dolphin kick, to get you back onto your stomach so that you can continue swimming for the next length. Now it seems a lot, but if you break it down into these 5 steps and you isolate learning each skill, you'll be doing a flip turn in no time. Now here's a few tips along the way that you want to think about as you're working through each of these steps. And even if you already have a solid flip turn, you can always work on improving each of these different elements. Even world-class swimmers can work on their flip turns to refine them and make them even better. So the first tip is to be in a small ball on the actual rotation. So as you're doing the somersault, you want to be as compact as possible. The smaller your body is and the less space you occupy, the less resistance you have through the water as you're rotating, as you're doing the somersault. And as a result, because water is 800 times more dense than air, because you're smaller and you occupy less surface area, you have less resistance, and you'll be able to do that much, much more quickly. The next tip is to approach the wall with speed. So you don't want to glide into the wall, which is the third pointer. Don't glide into the wall, stop, and then do the flip turn. If you think about in tennis, A ball moving quickly into the tennis racket will move quickly off of the tennis racket. If you throw a ball at the wall very quickly, it's going to come off the wall just as fast as you threw it. If you throw a ball very lightly at the wall, it's not going to come back very fast. The same concept applies with your body. As it's moving into the wall, you want to carry as much momentum as possible. Momentum is equal to mass times velocity. You can't control your mass because you already weigh as much as you weigh, but you can control your speed. So you want to enter the wall with a lot of speed, carry the momentum through the wall, don't glide, and don't lift your head as you go into the wall. So a lot of swimmers do the mistake of they come into the wall, they get a big breath, and then they flip. You get a lot of oxygen, but you slow down all of your speed and you make it a lot harder to actually carry momentum into the turn because you took that oxygen. Finally, you want to use the T on the bottom of the pool. So if you notice, on most pools, there's a black line with a T at the end. Now the T is about 5 feet or just under 2 meters away from the edge of the wall. So you actually don't even need to lift your head up. You can get comfortable looking at the T on the bottom of the pool, and the T will let you know that the wall is coming, and that's when you can initiate your final stroke and pull. Everyone's a little bit different in terms of how far they flip turn, and it matters based on how fast you're going as well. So the faster you go, you're going to approach the wall with more speed. You're going to have to refactor how fast you're going to do the flip when you see the T. You also want to make sure you're pushing off on your back. So this tip is really key for making sure you're not rotating onto your stomach while you're at the wall. Another tip is don't breathe on the breakout stroke. So you push off the wall in streamline, you have great kicks, but you need oxygen, you need air. I empathize with you. However, it's going to slow you down because you have the most speed when you push off the wall. If you take a breath, you're actually going to slow yourself down. So it's hard at the beginning, but as you aerobically condition your body, not breathing on the breakout stroke will become much, much easier. And if you're competing and you're going to a race, you need to make sure you can do that without taking a breath because you'll lose most of your speed off of the turn and off of this push if you take a breath. Also, practice doing this flip turn with multiple arms. So meaning one arm at a time. So maybe you go into the wall with your right arm, but the next time you'll approach the wall, it'll be with your left arm. So you want to make sure you're practicing with both arms, and that's why the drill of 3 strokes and then doing a flip will help you learn how to use each arm to pull you into the flip turn. And the final tip is practice, practice, practice. An elite swimmer will do over 500,000 flip turns in the course of just 1 season. So if you look at swimmers who have been doing this their entire life, they've practiced millions upon millions of flip turns, and as a result, they have a pretty good idea of what's going on. At the same time, it can be really hard to improve your flip turn because you're so used to doing something in a certain way. So doing these drills and doing these tips will really help you improve because it's something that you're going to do over and over and over again. Finally, I want to talk about a few different drills that you can do that really will help you isolate these tips and skills so that you can be better at a flip turn. The first drill is the 3 strokes plus a flip that we talked about over here. So you take your 3 strokes and then you're going to flip. You can do this as a set of 25s or 50s or even 100s. Just make sure you don't do it too much so that way you don't get too dizzy doing all of those flips. Another skill that you can work on with the flip is the actual flip part and getting your body comfortable flipping straight over the top. So if you're flipping over sideways, this drill with a lane marker and essentially doing a flip over the lane marker will help you focus on flipping straight over the top and not over to your side. So the way that works is you grab the lane marker, and the lifeguard may not like this at your pool, but if you tell them it's a drill, they might let you do it. And you grab the lane marker and you literally pull yourself over the lane line, and you want to get your body compressed and curling over the lane line so you get the feeling of flipping straight over the top. The next drill is my favorite. It's where you use 2 kickboards and you approach the wall kicking on your stomach with both arms extended, and as you get to the point where the kickboards are about to touch the wall, you separate your arms out and you flip onto the wall, and then you push off on your back and rotate. So you do the complete flip turn without using your arms. What this drill does is it really slows you down. It isolates using your core to generate power on the flip, and it doesn't let your hands get too occupied with what they could be doing underneath the water as you're flipping. So this really isolates a few different elements, and it's one of my favorite drills. Finally, you can do sets where you go freestyle backstroke where you focus on pushing off your back, on your back. So similar to step number 4 where you push off on your back where you do freestyle, you can do 50s where you go freestyle on the way down and then a 25 backstroke, and it forces you to swim freestyle, flip turn, find this position and then push off on your back, and then you stay on your back and you swim backstroke. This is a fantastic drill that you can do a lot of distance where you really get to focus on pushing off on your back. And then once you translate that into swimming, freestyle, you can push off your back and then be more confident doing your freestyle kick or your dolphin kicks off the wall so that you can return onto your stomach. So that's all we have for today's Whiteboard Wednesday. If you have any other tips or questions about mastering the freestyle flip turn, please let us know in the comments below. We look forward to you next time. This was Whiteboard Wednesday. We'll see you guys later. Bye.